podcast land. It's Scott when back here with vlog number 2 for Stranger Things season 2, looking at Trick or Treat Freak. And obviously, being the guy who his favorite movie is Ghostbusters, this episode brought a smile to my face. Starting out with the theme, ending with the theme, the guys having the best 1980s Ghostbusters costumes I have ever seen. Now, in the 80s, when I had my Ghostbusters costume, I had the cheapy proton pack with the little Nerf wand that was put out for the real Ghostbusters cartoon. So I think these guys win on the prop department. But I do appreciate the last episode. We saw Will's mom actually sewing the Ghostbuster patch onto the shirt. So obviously, not the shirt, the flight suit or whatever you want to call it, the exterminator outfit. We saw her sewing that on. So it was nice to kind of at least pretend that some parents could design and make those costumes for those kids. I also really like the joke about Venkman and Winston Zeddemore. And obviously the black kid has to be Winston when he does not want to be Winston because everyone wants to be Venkman. But I gotta tell you, I liked Winston. It's more so in Ghostbusters 2 because Winston has the scene that not much scared me when I was a kid. But I'll tell you what did. The scene in the New York sewers in Ghostbusters 2 when they are going down to check out the ooze without their packs because they're stupid, and Winston is walking down. First, he gets hit by a ghost train. But then the scene that creeps the hell out of me is the disembodied heads on pikes, and you just hear Winston. So, I like Winston, and I also like that joke. But now I'm completely off track. But again, as I mentioned in the last vlog, I'm very happy that they're moving this thing along. We're getting a little backstory of how Eleven came to be with Hooper. I do like the fact that we all assumed with the cliffhanger ending on season 1 that she was still in the Upside Down at the end of that, and Hooper either knew about it or didn't, was wishful thinking and leaving her egos in that box. But really, we find out she came back immediately. The blood was still fresh on the hallway floor at the school when she came back. So we're not entirely sure how long she's out there in the wilderness until somebody, maybe Hooper, maybe somebody else, picks her up. But it is very interesting to see that they did a little bait and switch for us on that. And I'm hoping they answer the ego question, what Hooper's doing with that ego. I'm hoping they do, but we'll see. I like how this story is going. There's some new questions now. What the hell are they doing in the Upside Down in terms of having power coming from it? Because it seemed like they're legitimately getting their power from the other side, and I don't understand why or how they're doing that. But obviously these guys are doing more than what they're letting on. And again, it's Paul Reiser, so he's evil. They're still trying to make me think that Sean Astin, Bob, I believe is his name, is a good guy. He's too damn nice to be a good guy. He's either gonna be a bad guy, or he's gonna get his ass killed. I don't see him being the hero of the story. But speaking of the heroes of the story, let's talk a little bit about the teenage angst and the drinking party in this episode. Nancy is obviously binge drinking over her. Not only the fact that her friend Barb was killed because Nancy had to get some that night, but also the fact that she knows Barb is dead. But Barb's parents still believe that Barb is out there. So the fact that she not only has to deal with the grief of knowing that, at least in her mind, she got her friend killed, but then she has to hide that from her friend's parents and everybody. It is just weighing down on her. And obviously, the most interesting turn last season was when what's his face, and I should know his name, and I knew his name about 5 minutes ago, but what's his face, who is dating Nancy at the beginning of the series, who was the prick for most of season 1, turns around with that baseball bat and becomes one of our big heroes in season 1. And I like that the show was smart enough to turn stereotypes on their heads with that. But now it's even gotten more to a point where I actually feel for the guy. It's not his fault that all this is happening. In fact, he has done everything he can to make things better. And Nancy is taking it out on him, the fact that she's upset at the world and at herself. And that's understandable on her behalf. I don't blame Nancy either. But I really feel for that guy because Steve... Is it Steve? Yeah, Steve. I really feel for that guy because he's done everything right. He's been a good boyfriend. He has gone with his girlfriend to their dead friend's house for dinner. He's trying to get her out. He's trying to be friends with he's doing everything right. He's doing everything a boyfriend should and everything a decent human being should. And the fact that she is completely pushing him away is actually pretty sad. And it also, we obviously have the love triangle trope that almost every show has, where you have Jonathan, Steve, I think is his name, and Nancy. And obviously we're supposed to be rooting for Jonathan and Nancy to get together. That's what we were supposed to be rooting for in season 1, especially before Steve made his turn for the good. But right now, I mean, I feel for Steve. I think Jonathan has some good qualities too, and the cute taking her home and making sure she's comfortable and being completely not, well, okay. When you take somebody home with you who's drunk, you're already a creeper. But he's being less of a creeper than what most would do by just tucking her in and then sitting down next to her bed and making sure she's okay. But at the end of the day, I kind of feel for Steve. I'm hoping Steve, comes out okay on this because, again, that dude's done everything right. In terms of the kids, aside from them having the best Ghostbuster outfits ever, the kids didn't really have too much to do here in this episode because we're seeing the side characters more in this episode. But a couple things, obviously, is Max is becoming a member of the group, and as can be assumed, Mike is not liking that for 2 reasons. One, Mike is kind of taking on the role that Lucas had in season 1, and the fact that he wants it to be an all-guys club. He does not want a girl to come in here and kind of wreck things for him. But he's doing it for different reasons. Lucas was doing it because he really just felt girls had cooties. But Mike is doing it because he's sad that Ella's gone. And he's kind of jealous that this new female is coming in to the group when he feels that spot should be Eleven's. And I like that dynamic. I also like the fact that we found out in this episode that Elle has been using her makeshift sensory deprivation chamber, aka static from a TV and a blindfold, to reach out to Mike, and she's been doing it for a while. We know this is 353 days after she went missing, and she may have been doing this every night. So this poor kid, on both of them, these poor kids, they both obviously want to find each other. And both of them know, more so Elle knows, but Mike knows too, that they're out there. And the fact that they really can't get together for obvious reasons is something that's it's heartbreaking. Obviously, sooner than rather than later, they're going to get back together. But it is nice that this piece is going on. And again, it's not filler. It's moving the characters forward. I also like the E.T. reference of Eleven wanting to go out as a ghost to hide, which is blatantly stolen from E.T. So I'm still enjoying this thing quite a bit. Episode 2's done. I'm about ready to check out episode 3, and hopefully we keep rolling. I'm gonna start talking predictions a little bit, but there's not too much to go on yet, so it's kind of really just kind of thrown out in the air. I love the Cthulhu monster. Obviously, I think what's happening here, and this was my thought from last season too, is we are dealing with parallel dimensions, as was kind of hidden at. And so in this one parallel dimension, it has been invaded by something. Maybe it is extraterrestrial, or maybe it is an organism or a group of organisms that were alive and well on Earth in that parallel universe, whatever it may be. But they have obviously taken over this one, and now they're starting to spread out into our universe through the portals. I also am interested to see, we found out that Eleven can really control the portals, more so than we thought when she opened that portal up more. And obviously, the guys at the lab are trying to stop the stuff from creeping into the portal, but it's already creeping out in the farms and very widespread. I mean, this thing has already spread quite a bit. So whatever has taken over the Upside Down universe is obviously trying to take over ours too. And so I'll be interested to see how that all connects. But I'm going to go ahead and dive into episode 3. So until next time, which will probably be in about an hour from now, I'll see you on the couch. Bye.